Recently, I asked you guys in a poll what topic you wanted me to cover next. The clear winner? The woman's ego. So, that's exactly what we're getting into today. Let's start with the problem. Modern dating has pushed a dangerous lie that men must bend, apologize, and constantly prove themselves, while women are automatically seen as the prize. But here's the truth most men won't say out loud. Many women enter relationships with egos so inflated, so untouchable, that it quietly strangles the respect they could ever feel for you. Now, when I say destroy a woman's ego, I don't mean insult her, lash out, or act bitter. That's weakness. Any insecure man can do that. What I'm talking about is stripping away the pedestal she's put herself on without saying a single word. Respect in a relationship is never one-sided, and the moment she forgets that, the balance is gone. Here's the twist. You don't need to argue, shout, or explain yourself. Her ego feeds on reaction. The more you chase, convince, or prove your worth, the stronger it grows. But when you move differently, when your silence, composure, and refusal to play along speak louder than words, that's when her ego starts to crack. That's when she realizes the game she thought she was winning is quietly slipping out of her hands. In this video, I'll show you 6 psychological strategies to dismantle her ego without saying a word. No yelling, no debating, just control, discipline, and presence. By the end, you'll see why silence and action always overpower arguments. But first, let's break down where her ego actually comes from, because you can't dismantle it if you don't understand it. A woman's ego isn't born overnight. It's built, and it's constantly fueled. Social media attention, non-stop validation, and men lining up for her time reinforce the idea that her value is unquestionable. When someone lives in that bubble long enough, they start believing they're untouchable. Watch what happens when you don't feed it. When you don't chase, don't rush to flatter, and don't hand out attention like it's free. Suddenly, she feels something rare, uncertainty. Think about it. She posts a photo and men drown her comments in hearts. She walks into a room and eyes follow her like she's the center of gravity. That's her normal. But with you, your energy doesn't shift. Your eyes don't cling. Your attention isn't cheap. That's when the crack appears. She starts wondering, why isn't he reacting like the others? Why isn't he giving me what I expect? Here's the psychological switch. The moment she questions her effect on you, her ego takes a hit. Without a word, you've disrupted her illusion. You've shown her that beauty, charm, or attitude doesn't grant automatic power over you. That's ego destruction, not through aggression, but through withdrawal of energy. You're not cruel, not dismissive. You're simply unmoved. And that alone shakes her reality. The next step? The power of indifference. Real indifference isn't pretending not to care while secretly hoping she notices. It's freedom. It's knowing you don't need her validation, attention, or approval to feel like a man. And here's why it works. Women test men constantly. They'll act cold, delay replies, or pull away just to see if you'll crack. Most men panic and chase harder. But when her tests don't move you, her ego takes the blow. Picture this. She ignores your message for hours. Most guys double text or beg for answers. You don't flinch. You stay busy, grounded, locked into your own life. She expects you to spiral, to react. Instead, she sees calm, silence, control. Without saying a word, you've already told her, I don't chase. I don't beg. I don't compete. That quiet confidence speaks louder than any argument. Her ego, built on the illusion that she controls your emotions, starts to crack. Suddenly, she feels unsettled, maybe even intimidated. This isn't about playing games. It's about embodying self-respect so deeply that nothing shakes you. But indifference alone, not enough. You need mystery. Mystery draws her in, yet threatens her at the same time. A man who reveals himself too quickly is predictable, easy to label, easy to control, but a man who stays calm, observant, and a little unpredictable, that unsettles her. Silence becomes a weapon. When you don't over-explain, when you don't justify, when you let your presence speak for itself, you create a space her ego can't navigate. She thrives on certainty, knowing she has the upper hand. Mystery denies her that comfort. Picture this. She asks, "So, who were you with last night?" Instead of scrambling to explain, you just smile, change the subject. No lies, no excuses, just calm redirection. That silence eats at her far more than a defensive speech ever could. Your unpredictability dismantles her sense of control. Her ego feeds on dominance. But when she can't read you, when she can't put you in a box, she feels powerless. And to an ego-driven woman, powerlessness is starvation. Mystery makes her chase clarity. And the more she chases, the smaller her ego becomes. Once you've mastered mystery, the next step is simple: passing her tests. Every man will be tested. It's her way of measuring your strength, your stability, your ability to lead. But most men fail because they react. Too fast, too strong, too emotional. When a woman tests you, whether it's a playful insult, withholding affection, or comparing you to someone else, she's not listening to your words. She's watching your reaction. Do you defend yourself? Do you collapse under pressure? Or do you stay calm, almost amused, as if her test barely touched you? Passing her tests in silence dismantles her ego faster than any clever comeback. Ego feeds on control. It wants to see you flinch. But when you don't, when you laugh it off or simply move on, she realizes she can't bend you. Picture this. She says, "Other guys would do more for me." Most men would argue, try harder, or panic. You just smirk and let the silence hang. That silence speaks louder than words. It says you don't compete. You don't need her approval. And every time you pass a test like this, her ego weakens and her respect for you grows. Not because you demanded it, but because you proved you can't be manipulated. But passing tests is only step one. The real power comes from living in your frame. Your frame is the world you carry into every interaction. Your values, your priorities, your perspective. Most men surrender it the second they meet a beautiful woman. They over-agree, over-explain, and adjust their life to fit hers. That surrender feeds her ego. It tells her she's in charge. But when you hold your frame, when you stand by your schedule, your boundaries, your mission without apology, you break that pattern. Ego expects compliance. When it doesn't get it, it has no choice but to respect you. Example: she tries to change your plans last minute. Instead of bending, you calmly say, "That doesn't work for me." No anger, no pleading, just certainty. She might act annoyed in the moment, but inside her ego cracks, because you've shown her you're not afraid to walk away. And that's the final move, the most silent, devastating one of all: walking away. Nothing shatters ego faster than realizing she doesn't own you. That no matter how beautiful or charming she is, you'll leave if she crosses your boundaries. And you don't announce it, you prove it. When she disrespects you, you don't argue. You don't beg. You withdraw. When she uses silence as a weapon, you mirror it effortlessly. Walking away is the ultimate checkmate, because her ego survives on your attention. And when you take that away, the game is over. Without you, her inflated sense of self starts to deflate. She may test you, try to pull you back, just to see if she still has power. But when you stand firm, the truth becomes clear. She never controlled you in the first place. And here's the twist. The man who's willing to walk away is often the one she fights hardest to keep. Because real desire and respect only show up when ego gets out of the way. Now, understand this. Breaking down a woman's ego doesn't come from shouting, arguing, or being cruel. It comes from discipline, silence, indifference, mystery, and the strength to stand in your own frame. The ultimate weapon? The willingness to walk away. These strategies don't just dismantle her ego, they raise your value. They remind her that respect has to be mutual, attraction has to be earned, and a man who can't be controlled is a man who can't be ignored. So, I want to hear from you. Have you ever used silence, mystery, or indifference to flip the dynamic with a woman? Did you see how her ego cracked without you saying a single word? Drop your story in the comments. I'll be reading them. Because this channel isn't just about giving advice. It's about building men who know their worth. And remember, sometimes the loudest thing you can say is nothing at all. See you in the next video.